Hello. Today, I want to show you a weird old newspaper article from every single U.S. state, starting in no particular order with
Oklahoma, 1926.
Okay, this is a great one to start off with. I found this buried in an old issue of the Valiant Oklahoma Tribune. Apparently, back in the 1920s, a couple of dudes named Martin and Sam started running all around town telling anybody who would listen that they were going to start up a new diet where all they did was drink gasoline and milk. The thought being that, hey, if a car can run on gas, then why can't I? Unsurprisingly though, just a couple days after they started in on their hot new cuisine, Sam was found dead in a parking lot and Martin died just a little while later at the hospital. It's a shame.
Montana, 1909.
Hey, did you know that back in the day, prisons used to send out official invitations to the execution of their prisoners? Pretty wild to look at that thing, right? I mean, it pretty much just looks exactly like the same kind of invitation that you might send out for a wedding or a birthday, but nope, you are hereby invited to the execution of a murderer. But you want to know the real crazy part is they even put little pictures of the prisoners on the cards. Like, it almost looks like a trading card or something like that, doesn't it?
Texas, 1915.
Here's an article I found called "The New Social Gangsters Who Prey Upon the Rich and Silly Women with Whom They Dance." It's basically just this big long story about con men wooing rich women and then stealing their money away. But the thing I like most about it is this picture. See, we got a young, innocent woman there dancing with what looks like a dashing prince. But
Pennsylvania, 1911. Kill rats, kill rats, kill rats, kill rats.
Wanted inventions. I swear to God, I will give you $1 million if you show me how to electrocute rats to death.
Michigan, 1936.
Friends, folks, please join me. Bow your heads and pay your respects to the Potato Queen.
South Dakota, 1889.
Hey, did you hear the news? Undertakers are cutting prices on their coffins, meaning now is the cheapest and best time to die.
Ohio, 1939.
All right, I love this one. Back in 1939, a girl named Lenora Davis woke up on the morning of her 17th birthday, which just so happened to be Friday, January 13th. Friday the 13th. Bad luck, right? Poor Lenora must be in for it today. Well, not according to her. See, Lenora laughs in the face of bad luck. She tells everyone that there is no way she's gonna spend her whole birthday in bed just because it happens to be Friday the 13th. No, in fact, she's gonna try to actively attract more bad luck. She's gonna taunt the forces of fate and fortune. She's opening an umbrella indoors. She's breaking a mirror with a hammer. She's inviting black cats to cross her path. She's lighting up cigarettes on the third match. And to top it all off, at lunchtime, she knocks over a salt shaker and all her friends start begging, pleading with her. Please, Lenora, toss a little of that salt over your shoulder. But she doesn't give in. And in the end, she has herself a wonderful Friday the 13th.
New York, 1948.
Hey, dude, aren't you just a little bit worried about buttons?
Yeah, definitely. It's probably not healthy for a cat to be eating 4 entire ears of corn in one day.
All right, I agree. So let's just watch him and make sure that he doesn't have any more.
Oh my God, Hunters, no! Wisconsin, 1922.
Hey, you know, there's a lot of cool animals up in Wisconsin. They got bears and eagles and even a few elk. But one thing they got that I'm pretty sure you've never heard of is the wamp. The wamp is a gray animal, about the size of a raccoon, that walks around on 2 legs and shakes salt out of the holes at the end of its tail. And if you don't believe me, here's a picture of it.
Virginia, 1902.
Here's a guy named James Wireman who got into a fight with his house cat and died. Yeah, the cat won the fight, killed the guy, and then tried to eat his body.
Vermont, 1873.
Oh man, my stomach hurts. What time is it? 2 in the morning. Geez, maybe I shouldn't have eaten all those fried clams for dinner. Oh well, I guess I better go find my medicine. Dang, is it dark in here? I can barely see what I'm doing. Well, I think I just found my medicine. I guess I'll just go ahead and take a big drink. Gulp, gulp, gulp. Hey, wait a minute. That doesn't taste like medicine. What the heck is this? Oh my God, I just drank cocaine.
Oregon, 1916.
Speaking of cocaine, here is a great little PSA article called Satan and Miss Cocaine. A very flowery warning against the dangers of cocaine abuse, including great lines like, Miss Cocaine presents herself and offers to go forth to earth as Satan's ambassador to lure souls to perdition.
Indiana, 1925.
When Mrs. Nettie Taylor here heard that her husband was sneaking around behind her back, she grabbed up a bullwhip and chased him down the city street, whipping and whacking and yelling, but I guess she must have forgave him eventually, because shortly after the incident, she was going around telling people that she wanted him back.
Georgia, 1906.
All right, this is a real weird one. Apparently, some rich bachelor down in Atlanta decided that it was about time for him to get married. So he held a wife competition, inviting a whole bunch of women to come answer essay questions to determine who would make the best spouse. Some of the questions included, describe in 150 words how to make a bed. Name 7 kinds of pie and tell how you would prepare each. And should your husband be allowed to smoke in the parlor?
Maine, 1899.
Hey, are you throwing a party and can't quite figure out what kind of fun games and activities to plan? Well, how about an onion sociable? In this kind of game, you get all the women at the party to go into a separate room away from the men. Then, one of the ladies takes a huge bite out of a raw onion. After which, it is one of the men's job to go kiss all the ladies and try to guess which one of them just ate the onion.
New Mexico, 1911.
There will be no more babies by the year 2020. We're gonna have to start importing our babies from France. And that is the entire article. There's literally no context or reason given for why there's gonna be no babies or why we gotta just start importing them from France. There's just gonna be no babies.
Alabama, 1882.
You wanna hear the worst joke I think I've ever heard in my life? How do you make a hen lay? You cut off its legs.
Delaware, 1945.
If you were a woman dating a Navy man back during World War II, and you wanted to show that you're committed to that relationship, then why not clip on this little Taken pin, complete with an angry little sailor guy?
North Carolina, 1939.
Are you ever blind? Well, you're close to it if you drive at night, for your eyes are like a camera. In the dark, the pupil of the eye is wide open, straining for light. Sudden glare contracts the dilated pupil in less than a second. Ah, glare blindness. I can't see. Please, turn off your high beams.
Rhode Island, 1924.
What do you do if you want somebody to shut up and they just won't stop talking? Well, if that person is a Rhode Island state senator back in 1924 and they've been talking for 42 hours straight, then you soak a newspaper with chlorine gas, chuck that bad boy behind the drapes, and try and poison the entire congressional body.
South Carolina, 1883.
One time, 2 hunters were arguing about whether gunpowder would blow up or not if you touched it with a lit match. So, they set a flask of gunpowder on the ground, put a lit match to it, and blew themselves up. But they both lived, and somehow still weren't sure which of them was right.
Idaho, 1905.
Hey, you know how you can get like a professional athlete or an actor or something to be the spokesperson for your product? Well, apparently back in 1905, you could just straight up get the Cuban ambassador to hawk your weird snake oil tonic.
Kansas, 1915.
Here is a real wild one. This is a newspaper article about a woman named Winnie Manson who made headlines giving speeches about the best way to shoot your husband to death. Yeah, apparently she had shot her own husband and got off scot-free, so now she was going around telling everybody that you gotta shoot him in the front, not the back. That way you have a much better chance of being acquitted in court. After all, just recently, her friend had shot her husband in the back and, whew, she had a real tough time explaining that one to the judge.
Louisiana, 1938.
Some poor guy got told that the best cure for a skin rash is to fill a tub with gasoline and then submerge your whole body in it, which ended up sending him to the hospital when the heater in the room lit the tub on fire.
Maryland, 1905.
My dear, what in the world is the matter with your speech? Why, auntie, nothing is the matter. It's the fashion, you know, to lisp a little. All the girls are doing it.
Arizona, 1910.
You know, if you read a lot of newspapers from the start of the 20th century, then you'll see a ton of stuff about mediums and spiritualists and all that kind of stuff, because spiritualism was super hot at the time. But something you don't see often is a supposed picture of a medium levitating a pair of scissors.
Connecticut, 1908.
Elmer saw a 7-toed cat on his farm, which is a sure sign of bad luck. And sure enough, Elmer's chickens died, and then his cow died, and then the cow's baby died, and then his son broke his arm, and then his mother-in-law recovered from a terminal illness, which was apparently a bad thing because Elmer wants his wife's mom to die, you see. And it's bad luck that she did it. And then the cat smashed through a glass window and ran away.
Colorado, 1906.
Apparently, there used to be this cult called the Brotherhood of Life that lived up in the Colorado mountains. They followed the teachings of a new Bible called the Book of Owaspy and would regularly adopt orphan babies and take them up to their mountain camp, which everybody seemed to be fine with, until it came out that 12 people had starved to death up at the camp, and the police had to get involved.
Alaska, 1932.
This one, I just don't understand. Some dude just showed up in Cordova, Alaska in 1932, saying that he is the heir to a $1 billion estate that former President James Buchanan left for him, which turned out to just be completely fake. And it just makes me wonder, like, how do you even come up with a scam like that? Like, if you're gonna go for some kind of big time con, is the best you can come up with really to pretend that James Buchanan left you $1 billion worth of land in Alaska? Like, that's really your best shot?
Florida, 1921.
Here's another one that I just like for the picture. This is an article printed in 1921 about a guy who says that the ghost of his dead first wife is now jealous of his new second wife, so she's haunting both of them.
Hawaii, 1925.
Hey, did you hear that they're gonna start making sports cars in all sorts of fun, bright colors?
Oh, sweet. That's gonna make it so much more fun to get ran over. Illinois, 1940.
And the winner of the Better Babies contest is Helen Roberta Hunter. She is 100% baby.
Nebraska, 1929. Mary, how come your little lamb doesn't follow you to school anymore?
What, at 50 miles an hour? Come on, Teach. We zoom into school nowadays. We got cars, baby. We zip into class. Get with the times, Teach.
New Hampshire, 1891.
We got a woman here named Sally Fridley who has a very peculiar way of getting cream. See, what she does is put a silver dollar in a bucket and then walk up to an old towel that's been hanging in her closet for 40 years. Then she chants, "The milk for her, the cream for me, saw, brownie, saw," or "saw, Daisy, saw," or whatever the cow's name is. And somehow, she always gets the cream.
Washington, 1909.
Here is a PSA warning against the dangers of fireworks. So we got a little boy there just trying to light something off, and
West Virginia, 1937.
you want to hear some proof that ghosts exist? Well, back in 1937, a West Virginia family heard a sheep on their roof, even though there's no way that a sheep could get on their roof. So it must have been a ghost sheep.
Nevada, 1896.
Your face! If you buy our sewing machines.
Iowa, 1921.
And speaking of faces, I just heard tell that this guy over in Iowa makes the funniest faces ever. Apparently, his parents just die laughing whenever he pulls out a funny face. So let's see one of those famously funny faces of his.
Tennessee, 1893.
This is a tattoo artist talking about a woman who paid $3 to have her lips tattooed permanently red. Pretty crazy, especially for the 1890s.
Utah, 1916.
This woman said that this guy appeared to her in a vision and said that he was gonna come profess his love to her on Wednesday. And then, sure enough, wouldn't you know it, on Wednesday, he actually showed up. And whang bang boom, that's a marriage.
Missouri, 1900.
Here's a little advertisement for a book that's supposed to teach you how to become beautiful. Apparently, if you follow the directions, you'll look like this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then this. Whoa.
New Jersey, 1950.
For 10 straight years, two convenience store owners argued and fought with each other constantly. Their stores were right next to each other, and they were just always yelling at each other over signs and customers and all sorts of stuff. Until 1950, when they almost came to blows in the middle of the street, with one wielding a pitchfork and the other a mop. Luckily though, they got arrested before any blood could be spilled, and the judge in the case decided to sentence them both to spend the next 24 hours together in a jail cell, hoping the close confinement would somehow teach them to be friends.
Arkansas, 1914.
1914's freak fashion. Coats smaller than the wearer, roll collars extending below the shoulder, slit trousers, flower garden socks. Now that's what makes freak fashion.
North Dakota, 1914.
Maybe you guys can help me out with this one. This is just a little one-sentence article that says John Mueller objects to our mentioning the fact that his apples are getting ripe for the reason that his dog is too young. My guess for what the heck that's supposed to mean is that his dog is too young to scare people away from picking his apples, but that's about all I can come up with.
Massachusetts, 1787.
All right, this one is a real relic. This is a guy writing about all the different ways that a person can go crazy, or as they used to call it, all the different types of mania. We got pride mania, where you love yourself too much. The national mania, where you love your country too much. The love mania, where you love your spouse too much. And the mathematical mania, where you love math too much. Whole lot of ways to go crazy.
Mississippi, 1922.
The search for the perfect back has hit the American South. A team of spinal doctors is offering a $1,000 prize to whoever can produce the most beautiful back in the world. Could one of these lucky ladies have the world's most perfect back? Who knows?
Wyoming, 1919.
Mickey says, if you found a $10 bill, lost your pet bulldog, or... Wait, Mickey, I'm sorry man, but I just cannot trust anyone that looks like that.
Kentucky, 1899.
Here's a good story about a woman cooking rice for the first time. Apparently, she didn't know that it swells up as it cooks, So she put way too much rice into the pot, and it just kept growing and growing and growing. And she's frantically filling every single pot and pan in the house with more and more and more rice. And oh my God, there's so much rice.
California, 1924.
This one is just crazy. Apparently this dude had been going around Hollywood pretending to be a big-time agent and getting impressionable young women to sign what he literally called soul slave contracts, which were basically just sworn proclamations to do everything that the guy said in exchange for him supposedly getting the women a film career. I just cannot believe that they actually called it a soul slave contract.
Minnesota, 1928.
And now I want to close things out with the vampire boy. So this 7-year-old kid, Bernard Walasek here, his parents say that he kind of went crazy a couple years ago and developed a taste for human blood, to the point where he literally chases down his classmates and tries to bite holes in them. And not only that, he lights off firecrackers in the oven, and he runs into traffic and tries to get ran over by cars. He literally attacks his classmates so much that the newspaper got a picture of 3 boys with fresh bite marks on their faces. Man, you gotta feel a little sorry for the kid, right? Something's just gone wrong there. But hey, that's all I got for you. I hope you liked the video. I'll see you next time.